Welcome to Yin Yoga with Terry Hooker. We can begin our practice in a comfortable seated position, taking a few deep breaths and letting the mind settle as we arrive for our practice. And by concentrating on the breath, we begin the process of quieting the mind and moving into a state of tranquility and peace. And continuing to take a few deep breaths here before we begin our asana practice. And bringing our hands to our hearts, dedicating our practice. We can begin by taking a few deep breaths and bringing the arms up overhead. The palms touch overhead, and then with an exhale, lowering the hands down to the heart center. And again, inhaling and lift, and exhale, hands to the heart. Our first posture today will be child's pose. So whenever you're ready, we can begin to shift off of our seats and come onto all fours, and then press back to child's pose. If you'd like to use a bolster in front of you between the knees for support, you can lay forward on the bolster, turn the head to one side, and settle in. Noticing the stretch in the tops of the feet, the thighs, and the hips. In the Yin tradition, we hold postures for several minutes and allow this deep relaxation and deep penetration to occur. And in the mind, we're drawing our attention inward and noticing the inner experience, such as the breath and the sensations in the body, and also the contents of the mind. Just noticing what is arising and letting it pass away. And through this process, we gently quiet the mind and move into a deep state of peace and tranquility. And I hope you enjoy this class here today. We'll be moving through a number of poses that are beneficial for the hips, shoulders, and hamstrings. So we'll hold here in child's pose for about another minute. Just continue to observe the breath and relax. Any tension we notice in the body, we can try and figure out a way to release deeper into the posture, letting everything go, letting everything melt down into the bolster and into the mat. And getting ready to move on now, you can bring the chin back to center, follow the breath up, pressing into the hands, and coming onto all fours for some cat-cow movements. Arching the back and looking forward, we lift the chin and inhale, and then exhaling round the back, drawing the chin to the chest. Observe this gentle connection between movement and breath. Takes us deeper inward on our journey within. We'll be moving on to downward facing dog here, so moving props aside and tucking the toes, lifting the knees up off the mat, pressing back. Walking the dog if that feels good here, by bending each knee forward a few inches and stretching out through the opposite side. Let's take an inhale and lift the right leg up into the air, and we'll draw it across for pigeon posture. The shin comes diagonally across the mat, the right shin. And then we fold forward and release either onto a bolster, blocks, or just onto the mat without any supports. Just letting everything melt forward. And we'll be holding here for several minutes. Just enjoying this deep penetration, opening in the hips. And we're going to gently begin moving to the other side. So first walking up onto the hands. And stepping the back toes forward, we can release the front leg and press back to downward facing dog. With an inhale, we'll bring the left leg up, press back, And then draw the left leg across for pigeon pose on the left side. Just taking our time to settle in, letting everything melt down into the mat. We may find after some time passes that the hip is opening and the muscles are relaxing and we can move deeper into the asana. So we should always judge for ourselves if we're ready to move deeper, being careful to stay within our boundaries, protecting our knee, and enjoying the practice. Of course, we want to be challenged and we want to stay focused in the mind. But it's good to have a nice balance, being relaxed as well in the asana. And we'll begin to move on here, pressing into the palms of the hands and coming back into downward facing dog. Our next posture will be square pose or a forward fold in Sukhasana, known by both names. Come to a seated position, in a comfortable cross-legged position, like Indian style, pressing the shins slightly away from the pelvis and folding forward. You can use a bolster in front of you if you'd like. Relax the forehead onto the bolster and let the hands just lay wherever they're comfortable. And we can gently now begin to invite the breath back into the body, walking the hands into the chest, sitting upright, and switching the cross of the legs to the other side. We'll fold back forward, and feeling it here in the hip, primarily in the leg or on the side that's in the front. And settling in, just relaxing everything forward onto the bolster. Letting the hips settle, the lower back, all the way up into the shoulders, base of the neck and base of the head. Everything relaxing and settling. And preparing again to move to the next posture will be Anahatasana, a heart opening pose. So rising upright, walk the hands in, and we'll shift onto all fours. And then gently widening the knees out a few inches and coming down onto the forearms. Walk the forearms forward just a few inches and then lower the forehead down onto the mat. Come into a posture here with a opening in the armpits and shoulders. It's a beautiful posture for opening the heart, opening the shoulders. And see if we can rest and relax here, releasing through the lower back, mid back, and upper back. Just allowing the whole front side of the body to melt forward towards the mat. And we'll be holding here for another minute or so. So just continue to relax into the posture. Okay, and gently now we're going to begin to make our way into downward facing dog. See if you notice the opening in the shoulders from Anahatasana, if that's helped with your downward facing dog. And we'll hold here for a few breaths before we move into shoelace posture, also known as cow legs in the Hatha tradition. So we'll begin by coming to a seated position and drawing the left foot into the right hip. And then the right shin folds over the left thigh, crossing the legs, and then folding forward, releasing the forehead down onto the right knee. Now if your forehead doesn't come all the way down, that's okay. You can use a block or a cushion, or even sitting upright. If you find this posture to be really challenging, you can just remain upright. And notice how the sit bones are uneven. You can draw the sit bones down towards the mat. And also as we remain in the posture here, we'll notice that the hips will begin to open and we can move a little deeper into the posture. And beginning to rise up now, inviting the breath into the body, we'll switch to the opposite side. You may want to extend the legs out in between here and wiggle out any tension that's developed. And then drawing the right foot into the left hip. And the left shin folds over the right thigh, folding forward. And we'll hold here again for a few minutes, just really relaxing and settling into the posture. And now we'll begin to make our way into a forward fold. So whenever you're ready, we'll gently begin rising upright, unwinding from shoelace posture. Just be gentle here to release slowly any tension in the knees or hips. In the forward fold, from the Yin perspective, we are gentle with the hamstrings. We allow a slight bend into the knees, and this helps to move the stretch into the lower back and up the spine. So instead of engaging the quadriceps we find a way to just really relax forward and allow everything to soften and release. And again, we hold postures for several minutes to allow that release to occur. And from here we're going to move into Janu Shirsasana. So gently rising upright and then drawing the right foot into the inner thigh of the left leg. We'll be folding forward over the left leg, focusing on the hamstring on the left side. And gently releasing, we'll make our way to the other side. Extending the right leg and drawing the left foot into the inner thigh of the right. And then folding forward. And see if we can allow a gentle bend in the knee here as we fold forward. And not engaging the quadricep on the right side. Just allowing the knee to come up a few inches and relaxing and releasing forward. Enjoy. And beginning to move on here, we're going to pass through downward facing dog and then make our way into Supta Virasana. So extending both legs forward and working out any tension there, rubbing the knees, flexing the toes, and then coming into downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths here. And release back through the hips, sit bones rising up and back, and rooting down evenly through the palms, gazing upwards towards the navel. Down dog's a wonderful transition pose in the Yin practice. And coming down onto the knees and setting up for Supta Virasana, you can use a bolster behind the back. And widening the ankles so the hips fit down in between the ankles, and letting the knees widen also towards the edge of the mat, and slowly making our way, lowering ourselves down onto the bolster. And you can use more support here if it feels like too much strain will be placed on the lower back or the thighs or knees. So you can use a block under the head or a blanket. This can be a really challenging posture here, so we use the breath, breathing into the tension and relaxing. We'll hold here for several minutes just to enjoy the stretch. And also, as we move deeper into the meditation experience, we notice the tranquility in the mind becoming like a smooth lake and not a ripple on the water. And if we do notice any kind of distractedness in the mind, we can always come back to the breath and come back to the sensations in the body. Just doing this over and over again until it eventually becomes a habit, and eventually the mind becomes quiet and tranquil. Enjoy. And we'll be coming to the end of our practice here soon. Hope you have enjoyed Yin Yoga today with Terry Hooker. Beginning to make our way out of this posture here, Supta Virasana. You can draw the elbows in close to the body and then press into the elbows, rising upright and coming onto all fours. And we can extend one leg out at a time and keep the toes on the ground, just making circles with the ankle and checking in with our knees, straightening the knees, making sure that we're all comfortable before moving on. And now to close class, we'll come to a comfortable seated position using a bolster or block if that feels right for you. And closing the eyes and just enjoying the peace and quiet that we've created within. And now for our closing class, we'll draw our hands to our heart center and close with a prayer for gratitude. Gratitude for this opportunity to practice. Gratitude for all the things that support us and sustain us. And thank you for joining me today. Namaste.